Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. We are from Group 2, and the members of our group are Anissa Nur Aziza, Devina Ayu Aryani, Rizka Aulia, and Fima Baitijana. So today we would like to present our discussion results for several questions given related bringing innovation with effective ELA project management. So there are two tests here. The first test consists of 9 questions, while the second test consists of 3 questions. Let me begin from the first question. Next. So the first question is, with reference to Carlos' article and Hayward's chapter 2, how do you define innovation and change in ELT classrooms? So in the context of the ELT classroom, innovation can be defined as an effort aimed at improving education by doing something new or different. And innovation arises because there are previous concepts, understandings, or things that need to be changed or developed in order to produce better learning practices that help students achieve the learning goals and meet their needs. Next. And the next question is, why and how change take place? The main rationales for change take place are there is an indication of the centrality and ubiquity of innovations. Innovation arises because of a previous concept, understanding, or things that is thought to need to be changed or developed. For example, in the educational context, the government, school administrators, or teachers want to innovate by keeping up with the latest developments or research findings so as to make education more effective for students and can be a force to encourage equal distribution of education and more equitable opportunities for various levels of society. And change starts from the feeling of dissatisfaction with present practice. So when we want to make a change, we can start with questioning ourselves, do we need to change? Then we need to design a project plan to propose change and to test the implementation of the change. To do this, we require the criteria for the evaluation. And at the end of the project, decisions need to be taken about whether the new ideas work and can be demonstrated or implemented to the present practice. Next. And the third question is, Carlos refers to Rogers in 2003 about the 5 oft-cited factors that influence an end users' responses. What are they? So Rogers outlines 5 oft-cited factors which influence an user's responses, which are first, relative advantage, second, compatibility, third, complexity, fourth, trialability, and fifth, observability. Next. And the next question will be presented by Rizka. Rizka, time is yours.
Thank you, Davina, for the opportunity. So the next question is, Charles also states that there are 3 main barriers to successful implementations of change, and there are 3 implementation of change. First is teacher related, the second is system related, and the third is school related. So the first is teacher related, such as lack of teacher ownership or understanding of the innovation, and also the related such as change not congruent with existing teacher values and belief, negative attitudes, often engaged by the additional workload entitled, and then teachers are often emotionally bound in existing practice, and change can be personally threatening. And also the system related, it is such as poor connection and lack of mutual trust between change agents and frontline implementers, and also like putting too much emphasis on the intricacies of the innovation itself and not enough on consideration of how it could be implemented, lack of appropriate resource to support the innovation, and insufficient professional development and support for teachers, and also failure to bridge the gap between rhetoric and reality. And then for the school related, it is such as lack of sportive culture for change, and also like conservative force within a school, lack of support or understanding for senior management, and inadequate school-based resource, and also student difficulties in adapting to teacher change. Next. And for the next question is, what is Charles' intention in referring to Marquis' 1997 distinction between primary and secondary innovations? So primary innovations refers to change to teaching materials or pedagogy, while secondary innovations refers to organizational change which provide enabling support for the primary innovation. And also secondary innovation is one of the reasons for a lack of success in implementing change. Next. And for the question, what does Charles think we will be a great challenge in implementing language education innovation in EFL context? Charles think will be a great challenge in implementing language education innovation in EFL context. Sometimes that the case that pedagogy values such as learner-centered, communicative, or process-oriented approach clash with different thought equally valid philosophies which may put greater emphasis on whole class direct interaction and examination preparation or more product-oriented teaching. Next. And for the next question will be explained by Anissa. Anissa, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Rizka. And the next question is, what conditions are recommended by Charles to ensure successful implementation of an innovation? Charles recommends an innovation that is appropriate to the context or an innovation that is built according to values that does not violate the implementing plan. And also an innovation that is not too ambitious and has relevant and adequate support. Projects that are built have effective institutional, that's professional development and support. The project itself has a problem-solving strategy and has a change management strategy to address problems that arise and will hinder innovation itself. Next. Next is, how does Hayward describe the relationships between innovation and project? According to Hayward, a project is an endeavor designed to examine current practice, propose change, and test implementation of change. Innovation is a change in the form of an existing idea, build or product into something new. A project is designed to promote change and innovation. They provide opportunities to test possible innovations in a protected environment without taking the decision to change established practice until it can be shown that the new ideas work. Next. And the last one is, what is his recommendation for the first step in project planning? The first step is create an appropriate title for project planning. Choosing a unique and interesting title will make participants interested in planning the project. Next. And for the task 2 will be presented by Fima.
Okay, thank you, Nisa. And for the task 2, the question is, read Weddell 2009A chapter 9 to learn about what question to consider in evaluating an innovation. So according to Weddell, there are two sets of questions to evaluate an innovation. And for the first set, tries to help identify the current understanding skills, beliefs, and behaviors of those who will be most directly affected by the proposed change. This question might involve, first, who might these people be in any local educational environment, and two, what question would you want to ask about them? And the second set relates to the extent to which exciting classroom condition within within local institutions are appropriate for the outcomes that the change hopes to achieve. For the question, first, which of the existing conditions that influence the existing educational or English teaching system are likely to be relevant here? And the second question is, what question would you want to ask about them? And for the second question is, choose one innovation currently implemented by the Indonesian MORT1 simplified RPP or prototype curriculum. We choose a simplified RPP. This new policy is innovation that allows teachers to choose, create, use, and develop their RPP. Their RPP must consist of 3 core components such as learning objective, learning activity, and assessment. And for the last question is, use Wedel's 2008 question to identify the potential problems the selected innovation may have on teachers, teaching materials, and assessment of English aspects. First, there is from a teacher. The question are, what are the essential skill and understanding that the simplified RPP requires of English teachers? The answer is teachers need to develop their RPP based on principle of RPP development that is efficient, effective, and students-oriented. And their RPP should include core components of RPP such as lesson objective and learning activity assessment. And second, what are their current professional strengths and weaknesses? For the strengths, teachers might understand what students need. And the weakness is teachers do not imply their RPP properly. And for the second is the teaching material itself. The question is, by the time implementation starts, will there be enough appropriate teaching material in most classrooms? Learning material should be in line with the teacher's RPP. Teachers could use material from teacher or student books from the government. But if there are material that are not suitable with the teacher's RPP, they can search the material on the internet from credible sources. And last, the assessment of English aspects. The question is, what are the most important English exams that learners have to take? The most important English exam that learners have to take is to continue to higher level of education and enter university. It occurs at the final year of school. And what do they assess? They generally assess students' reading comprehension, listening, and vocabulary. So that's all from our group. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.